Hey there, and welcome to an episode of YQG In Bloom. I'm your host, Tracy Martins, and we are recording here at Walkerville Brewery. Today, we are shining a spotlight on one of Windsor's oldest, most vibrant, and community-driven neighborhoods, Walkerville. And I'm joined by an incredible panel who are right here in the middle, in the heart of it all. Business owners, community builders, and champions of the neighborhood. So let's get started. Panelists, why don't you introduce yourselves and give us a quick snippet?
Hi, my name is Jen Brignall-Strong. I run a local food blog called Tailgate Takeout, where I highlight the best places to eat, drink, and have fun in Windsor, Essex.
My name is John Alvarez. I'm part owner of F&B Hospitality Group. That's part of the Grand Cantina, Funky Chow, Tula Cafe, and then our newest one would be IKTO Tiki.
My name is Dan MacDonald from 89X CIMX, and I'm also a longtime resident of Walkerville. I've lived here for 25 years. I love to eat, drink, play, party in Walkerville, so I'm very, very happy to be on the panel today.
Hi, my name's Anissa Noakes. I own Urban Art Market. It's a handmade gift shop in Walkerville, and we support local handmade businesses in Windsor, Essex County.
Hi, my name's Mike Brkovich, and I'm one of the co-owners of the Walkerville Brewery.
Alrighty, we're going to get started here, and I'm going to start with Jen, since she's right next to me. When did you first discover Walkerville, and do you remember the very first restaurant that you popped into?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people think I live in Walkerville because I'm here so often. But actually, the first restaurant I remember is the Gourmet Emporium, which is now Madame Monsieur.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a great small plates restaurant. Remember coming down here for the Winter Bites menu that Windsor Eats used to do throughout the city, and just loving the vibe of the area. And so since then, just continuing to visit, to haunt all of these local businesses and support all the great restaurants and establishments around here. And it's so amazing to watch it grown over the last decade.
It really has grown. I'm going to go to John now. And John, how many businesses do you have in the Walkerville area right now?
So in the Walkerville area, I own 4 businesses. And just listening to what Jen's response to your first question was, she said the Gourmet Emporium. When I first moved to Canada in 2010, I was a chef of the Gourmet Emporium for that small plates restaurant.
That's right. Yep.
I moved from Las Vegas to here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? But that being said, I'm so excited and really grateful for my time and experience in this neighborhood, because I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else, because I built my roots here, and the company, my business partner Rosemary, met her when I was working at Sushi Guru right across the street, and it's now Kona Sushi. It has been amazing with the time and the growth that we had in such a short period of time.
That is awesome. So what businesses are here now?
I do have a couple notes sent by Rosemary's husband, Matt Woods, part of the BIA. So there's 20 plus restaurants that are in, say, Walkerville proper. That goes from Tallulah to, say, Thirsty Butler, Walkerville Brewery. There's so many options that there's something for everybody. That my spiel is nobody ever steps on anybody else's toes. Where it is a community, it's a neighborhood where everybody helps out each other. So if I need to borrow a cup of sugar, I can go to my neighbor and ask. And we paid forward, but we the grand scheme of things is we make sure that we are doing well, but not only just ourselves, but the neighborhood, right? Because it whatever happens is in the greater scheme of things, right? So I think it's really amazing.
And Dan, how long, you said you've lived in the Walkerville area for 25 years.
Yep.
What came first, your love of Walkerville or moving here?
I fell in love with Walkerville probably in the 1990s, like 1995, 1996, because my friend moved here. I didn't live far from here. I lived in the Ford City area, but on the south side of of Tecumseh Road, but right by Ford City. So my friends moved to Walkerville, and I would have been about 20 years old, and we went to a place. It was at the time called either Silhouettes or Limelight. It's now the Kildare House now.
Yeah.
But it was like kind of a restaurant, a pub type place. And we stayed at their house, and then we went to Willisted Park the next day. And my friend said, if I ever buy a house, I want to buy a house in the Walkerville area. And I right away was like, me too. I'm copying that idea and I'm doing it. So it was always kind of my dream. I love the whole cohesiveness of the neighborhood, the beautiful park in the center of it, Willisted Manor, all the small businesses. I love the charm, the vibe. So I kind of always knew, like, when it's time to get my own place, it's going to be in the Walkerville neighborhood. So I think I fell in love with Walkerville first, and then it was always a goal to live here.
And did it disappoint?
No. And I moved here early 2000s, like just after 2000. And it's only gone up. It was a much different Walkerville, in fact, 26 years ago. Very, very different. And seeing it come alive, there was always that energy, though, and that pride and that spirit that I loved so much, that sense of community and neighborhood. But since I moved in, things have just skyrocketed. It's been so cool. I kind of almost feel like I got in on like the dip, and then things just rose again. So I think Walkerville had a rise and fall. And like any neighborhood does. And as I got in, it was on the rise, and it continues to be on the rise. It'll always be my favorite neighborhood by far.
Oh, cool. Now I'm going to take that back. This way, Anissa can hear me say congratulations and happy 10th anniversary to Urban Art Market.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay.
Now, I was around here. We had our studio just on Chilver on the opposite side of Wyandotte when you opened, and you have really brought a lot of creativity and artists to the area. How have you feel that Walkerville has changed when it comes to small businesses that are not cafes or restaurants, but creatives?
Well, Walkerville's always had a bit of an artistic flair to it. I went to Walkerville High School, and I unfortunately left Windsor in the late 90s, and it had a artistic feel. So when I moved back here in 2010, thinking about a business, Walkerville seemed to be the right spot, and then it sort of picked me, I guess. So like, it showed up on Facebook, and I went and saw the place. And it's one of those situations where like the business sort of runs faster than you can catch up to it. And that's kind of how it happened. So it definitely was the right place at the right time. And that was sort of the era where art in the park was really taking off more than it ever has been, because there's more people now creating their own businesses at home and wanted to get out of their basement and sell stuff and have a storefront, but they're figuring out how to do it. And I think Urban Art Market just was that little piece that sort of brought it all together. And it's nice to see that other businesses are doing the same thing in city.
Now, Mike, I'm going to ask you, because you have had this business for a long time. Can you give us a little history of the Walkerville area, since you're in such a historic spot?
Yeah, in relation to myself,
Yeah.
well, I came to Walkerville probably in the middle 90s after residing in Michigan and Detroit and Grand Rapids. And I've owned the brewery since 2011, but they were originally one of my tenants. The Plunketts opened it in 2007. So they became my tenant in 1997. Then they obviously went out of business in 2007. But when I came here in 95, I fell in love with the architecture, the history, Hiram Walker's legacy, started to purchase and acquire a lot of the commercial properties in Walkerville during the 1990s, all the way up until probably 2007. So I own quite a number of office buildings, some residential homes, warehouses here. And what attracted me here, as you know, Tracy, is the history and the architecture in this community. And I go back with Alyssa's mom, I think, on few on the panel, because I'm the senior member of the panel here. Her and I go back into the 1990s as well. So it's usually the love of architecture and the history and Hiram Walker and walking around these streets as a young boy. I grew up not too far from here. My mom used to take us shopping down Wyandotte Street in the 60s. buying us our outfits for school. Went through all the transitions of the great grocery stores here, the shoe stores, the department stores, the trophy stores, the banks that were here. So I go back probably right until the middle 60s when my mom used to take me down here.
Now, Jen, I know you go around all of Essex County and you visit various eateries and cafes and businesses. Is there another spot in Essex County that it has such a close-knit, how would I even say it? A unique variety of places in such a small area?
Yeah, and there's a lot of great neighborhoods around Essex County. Walkerville is very unique. I think Sandwich Town is another great example of community and people that, as John said, really work together and support each other. And that is what makes them unique. That is what makes Walkerville unique, that you can go borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor, or, if something is wrong with a piece of equipment or you need a hand with something, your neighbors are always here to help. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everyone who has a business, who lives in Walkerville, they just get it. Mm-hmm. They just get that sense of community and they want to keep building on it. And, there's a lot of, like I said, great spots around the city, but that is really what makes Walkerville stand out.
It is true. It just feels like a friendly place and a happy place. And I love the fact that, like Mike and Walkerville Brewery, they create events like the Walkerville Night Market. And then Anissa will have her business have events at the same time or be part of it. And then we'll see Funky Chow have a little booth in. You've done a bunch of events in the Walkerville area. How many have you done?
I can't even, several. We host the annual cornhole tournament here in conjunction with Walkerville Brewery. Always an amazing partner. I've partnered with Grand Cantina on different projects and things like that. I think that the reason, and we were talking about this kind of before we started recording, the reason is everyone in Walkerville says yes. Everyone gets it. Everyone sees the bigger picture of why it's so important to host these types of events and so many different types of events, right? We have food festival and art walk, and we even had the Women's Day market here yesterday. And there's just, as John said, something for everyone, and everyone here understands the value and the importance of doing these community events and working together to better the neighborhood. So, as long as I'm doing what I'm doing, I'll definitely keep doing events in Walkerville and supporting all of the businesses in Walkerville and really helping them continue to grow the neighborhood.
Everybody says yes in Walkerville because we're very easy here.
Yeah, true. Sure, man.
So true. That's why I need to move over here to Walkerville. I think I'd fit right in. Yeah. Okay, John, you originally had the Grand Cantina in Ford City. What made you decide to bring it over to the Walkerville area?
It just actually popped up in my memories. In 2016, I opened up my first restaurant, which is now IKTO Tiki. And that was sink or swim, very first place. I'm just going to cook the food that I want to do and, just build this community sense around us where we treated everybody like family. Probably less than a year into F&B, which now has grown to F&B Hospitality Group, we got an opportunity to move into Ford City to open up the Grand Cantina. And that was almost 7 years ago. Coming from somewhere else, people were like, well, Ford City, saying bad neighborhood, bad connotation, this and this. And I'm walking around this is pretty cool. I don't know, there's so much potential. And really proud of what we did there. But at the end of the day, we outgrew the space, and now Sawyer's Barbecue is in that location, and they're doing an amazing things. Where the food, the hospitality is always top notch, where I always have a great experience when I go in. But now I'm as we grow, it's about the community, and it's about the customer experience, to make sure that whatever we do is about customer forward. So, just being in this neighborhood has been so amazing, and people, the people that I've met and now friends, family, they're just so supportive, where I'm excited for everything that happens going forward. So the growth since I've moved here has exploded, right? So I'm really excited for what's going to happen next. There's so many possibilities. I know, like, even for all the events that are happening with the BIA, the next night markets, the next street closures, all that jazz. Like, it's only gonna get better, and better. And that's not only with the restaurants and local businesses, but with the community support, because without everybody else, it means nothing, right? So it is a really big community thing.
Now, Mike, you have had, like you said, you've had this business, Walkerville Brewery, for many years, and this is a very historic building itself. How do you feel that keeping Walkerville Brewery is keeping the history alive? And maybe if you could give us a little history of what this building was before you took it over?
I think it's easy to keep the history of Walkerville because there is so much history that most people in Windsor and Essex County don't even realize we have. So this brewery was started by Hiram Walker in 1888 at the age of probably 70 years old. And it was over on the corner of Walker Road and Wyandotte. This existing building was built in the 1920s and was probably 3 times as high as it is right now. They took it down in 1969, and it's always referred to as the surge building, where they took a lot of their excess capacity when they were distilling. This building was full of tanks. We have a lot of great pictures on the walls that we've acquired from Hiram Walkers to show the demolition in 1969 and all of the things that were done. But as an owner, Ian Gorley, my partner, and I really promote Walkerville, Hiram Walker's legacy, everything that Hiram Walker has done in our community that people don't know about. He was the largest landowner in Ontario at one time. He started a railroad. He started a ferry service here at the foot of Devonshire. He was a farmer, a hog farmer, a cattle farmer. He had numerous industries and was directly responsible for attracting Ford of Canada here in 1904. Packard Motor Car Company, Studebaker was here. He set up an ideal model town in his vision and had the financial resources to hire the world's greatest architects to come here to Walkerville to build Willestead Manor, to build the Canada Club building, and have housing for his employees. And I think there's so much here that it's easy for anybody up here at the panel to pick up some of this information and promote it and know a lot about it. We have a lot of history here that most of our residents don't even know we have.
Okay, Dan, I know they call Wyandotte area Walkerville proper, and you kind of live in between Ottawa Street and Wyandotte, and Ottawa is kind of classified as Walkerville too, which I didn't know until just recently. What do you find the businesses are they all cohesive, and does it still have the same feel as Walkerville proper?
Yeah, that's a good one. I find, like, I live on the exact same street as Walkerville High School, right there, right by the park, right by Ottawa Street, and smack dab in the middle. Like, I think I got the best of everything. Yeah. Because I've got 2 really cool BIAs right there. I also live not far from Ford City. I'm right there. That's what I love about Walkerville. It's so centrally located. Yeah. The businesses, though, to compare, it's hard because there are different feelings. I almost think Wyandotte Street area is more quintessential Walkerville. But Ottawa Street still feels very Walkerville to me as well. Ottawa Street BIA and all the cool little businesses. In fact, I feel like I party more on the Wyandotte side, but the other side, I do a lot of, I get my haircut. My dentist is there.
Glasses.
My eyeglasses are there. So it's just the neighborhood, the cohesiveness. They all work in tandem. there's such cool little places to eat and shop on this side, the night market, the open streets, all that stuff. But Ottawa Street is its own thing, but still very much connected to that as well. So I do consider it Walkerville.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not considered Walkerville, but I don't really know where people stand on that. To me, it's Walkerville though, as much as Wyandotte Street, just it's the other side of it, right? It's not quite South Walkerville either. South Walkerville is more like by the hospital.
Yeah.
Old Walkerville to me is like Ottawa to the river.
Yeah,
I don't know what the actual lines are,
like
but
boundaries.
it's the vibe though to me.
Yeah, I never understood that past Tecumseh Road is classified as Walkerville too.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
But, to what some of the guests are saying here, like to me, Walkerville Brewery, and I'm not just kissing your butt because you're here, Mike, but it was the surge of getting craft beer going. You guys were the first ones really doing it on this level.
Yeah.
And I think it'll always be that. I think it's amazing the way craft beer has taken off. It's become this huge thing in Windsor, Essex. But Walkerville was the first one that I remember seeing do it. So I kind of think it's like another renaissance, a mini renaissance that happened right here with Walkerville Brewery. And the same thing with all kind of restaurants. Like, my God, John, your restaurants, like, it's insane. Like, it really is like how it's taken off and transformed. When I mentioned earlier when I moved in here, like early 2000s, and things were one way, Walkerville was a certain vibe. Then that upswing happened. The restaurants, a lot of the businesses that moved in were a big part of that, I think, of what you and business owners like you brought to it. So it's just been so cool being a part of that and feeling like I got it on another ground floor. Like Walkerville boomed back in the day, and I feel like it boomed again in a different way in the 2000s. You could look at it that way, I think, anyway.
It's true. And I do have to thank you, John, for bringing brunch. Yes, if you guys haven't tried it, the Grand Cantina on the weekends has the most amazing brunch on Saturday and Sunday.
We're filling a gap where, like sometimes I miss going to the Walkerville Tavern to get like a really cool breakfast after like a really hard night.
Yes, we do definitely need more breakfast and brunch. I mean, come on. We have a brewery. We have a lot of bars in this area. We need a place to have a little eggs and feel a little better in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah. You'll find me there.
Now, Anissa over there, I know we've talked a lot about businesses that are off the Wyandotte area that are kind of like you had called it, the hidden gems of Walkerville that people might walk by and not even realize they're in this neighborhood. Could you give us a hint about a few of them?
Well, Walkerville, definitely between Gladstone and Walker Road, you can see what we've got. But off the beaten path, there are these little nooks and crannies upstairs from another business or around the corner, and there's a back door. There's some really cool little businesses that a lot of people don't actually see or find. 2 doors over from me on the corner of Brant and Chilver is a little museum, and it's called Asil Gallery. And it's a combination of a few people. They have sewing classes, they have knitting classes, little groups that meet. She displays, it's owned by Lisa Sylvester, and she displays things in her home, and you can walk in on the weekend. And she's actually set up in front of my shop during events and stuff to just sort of let people know what she's about. Also the funeral home, I guess. It's not a funeral home, but it's a really cool fabric shop. And they do lessons for kids and lessons for adults on how to sew, how to use your sewing machine, and they sell lots of fabric.
What is the name of that again?
Stitch It.
Stitch Happens.
I love it.
Stitch It Happens.
Stitch Happens.
Stitch
Yeah.
Happens.
Sorry. But I think people don't really know what's going on. So you just need to go in. I think most people just say, sure, come on in. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, you guys do the Walkerville Night Market, but also you guys have a ton of events here. Like, what do you see coming up for this spring, this summer?
Well, I'd like to call out Natalie and Nicola right over there. They're the two people that are really responsible for all of the events here.
Woo!
So they're the people behind the scenes, and the owners always get all the credit, right?
True.
But no, the night market we inherited from Mark Buscariel, the late, great Mark Buscariel, who was a friend of mine. And his wife came to me and said it would be great that if you continued his legacy, and came in one day and said Mark started it, so I'd want it to continue. And Natalie took off with it with Nicola, and we've really made it into a great event for the last Friday of June, July, August, and September, hopefully. And we're adding a lot of things on to our calendar. We're having events here every weekend. We have jazz night one Sunday night every month. We've added that to the menu, and we're having St. Patty's Day and all these other different events. And we had Women's Day yesterday. So we've got a full schedule of events, and weather permitting, we're going to have a lot of other events. You just have to stay tuned to our social media, and Natalie and Nicola will keep us all busy here.
I'm so excited about that. Now, before I forget, I want to show everybody the cute little sticker that we have here that Jen, Tailgate Takeout, as well as the Haunted Zoo, they are giving them away monthly. This is the new one for March, and it is in collaboration with Walkerville Brewery. It's $5. And can you tell us about the stickers?
Yeah, so a really cool project I'm working on this year in conjunction with the Haunted Zoo. It's actually being filmed for a Bell 5 TV documentary called The Zookeeper. So we are doing the Foodie Safari sticker hunt throughout 2026. And actually, we were just chatting about this earlier. Several Walkerville businesses are a part of this year-long project. And again, that goes back to the Walkerville just says yes. And they just love these cool kind of community collaborations. So again, this month we're working with Walkerville Brewery. Again, such a huge partner. I have so much love for like Nick and Nat and Mike. Thank you so much for always supporting my crazy ideas and coming up with so many amazing events. But the sticker is available all month long. We wanted to launch it this month, obviously with St. Patrick's Day coming up, and a great St. Patrick's Day party. Spent many a St. Patrick's Day in the Walkerville area. And so yes, those stickers are available, and the more you collect, you get ballots for a chance to win the Ultimate Foodie Prize Pack, which does include food and gift certificates and things from all of the businesses involved over the years. So we've got another cool collaboration coming up with the Grand Cantina actually in May.
What?
Oh my goodness. So looking forward to that. Again, John and Rosemary and the Walkerville BIA have also been an amazing community partner for me over the years, and always supported. And
We love you. We love you.
And fed me so many tacos over the years. But honestly, such a great group of people, again, who just, they love where they live, they love where they work, and they love supporting the neighborhood and watching it grow. So the stickers are a part of that, the events are a part of that, and very excited for the year ahead.
I'm excited about it as well.
Super excited.
I've gotten every sticker so far, and I plan on getting all of them, and I better win something. Just saying. Now, Dan, you've hosted some events as well in the Walkerville area. Are you going to be hosting some more events this year? And if so, could you give us a little preview?
Oh, always. I mean, in fact, I had a couple years back, I used to do a poetry event, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. I do it every single year on my birthday, and then it was getting so big, they said, you need to find a new venue. So I chose the Walkerville Brewery to do it, and we filled this place. It was really cool because for a poetry event, everyone thought, why are you having it at a brewery? I'm like, trust me, it'll work. It's a really cool place. We filled this place. It was amazing. And I've hosted that here. I've hosted, Windsor Pride moved to Walkerville, which is amazing. I always joke, I'm like, the Pride Parade literally leaves from my street. Like, that's how the community works here. But it's phenomenal. So yeah, I'm always down for hosting events here, the open streets, everything they do, super interactive. I like to stay involved in the community because I love my community so much. So it's all just very organic to me, doing stuff like that. Stuff like going back to the Walkerville is easy because everyone just says yes. When someone asks me to do something, especially in my neighborhood, I'm always going to say yes because it's just something I naturally stand by. It's where I live. And I think Windsor, I don't want to say Walkerville led the way, but in a lot of ways they did. It was the first community that I can really, really remember in my lifetime where people took a whole bunch of pride in where they lived. And then you saw that neighborhood kind of rise up and people were buzzing like the Walkerville neighborhood. And you're seeing that happen now with the Ford City neighborhood. You're seeing it now with Riverside a bit more and Sandwich Town. You're seeing that on the up and up. And we saw the same thing happen in Detroit. I know we're talking about Walkerville, but in Ford City, when I grew up there, I lived one street away from Drouillard Road, and my mom would not let me walk down Drouillard Road because she's like, you don't want to go on that street. Now it's a place people go to and party. And Walkerville went through a little era too, where it was kind of, I don't want to say rougher, but it wasn't really on the up and up. And that was kind of when I moved in, and it started coming on the up and up. So we're seeing that happen. We saw it happen in Detroit. You know, as somebody used to sneak across the border when I was 15 years old, and my mom didn't find out until years later. She didn't know I was going to Detroit on Devil's Night to see the Jesus and Mary chain, for crying out loud. And it was not a good neighborhood back then. Detroit now, that same venue, it's the Fillmore Detroit. It's massive. Downtown is bustling. So I think part of Detroit's revitalization was were people taking pride in their various neighborhoods. You heard about Midtown. You heard about Corktown. You heard about Indian Village. You heard about all these little areas that together made a patchwork quilt, and it made Detroit a really, really cool place, which is still growing, and so is Windsor. But I think it starts with neighborhoods and taking pride in your neighborhood and being a good neighbor and an active and engaged neighbor. And that's what I think brings an entire city up, literally one neighborhood at a time, and it takes everybody to do it.
I agree.
Good answer. I love that one. It is definitely true. And this one I'm going to hand over to John because he is our unofficial spokesperson for the BIA since we weren't able to have them here with us today. And he's going to give us a little hint of some upcoming events that will be happening in the Walkerville area this year.
So I got a couple notes from a friend. 2026 events. July 18th, Art Walk. It's 11 to 10. Saturday, September 12th, Walkerville, Taste of Walkerville, 11 to 10. Friday, November 20th, Holiday Walk, 5 to 10. Saturday, November 21st, Holiday Walk again, 11 to 6 p.m. And I feel like all of these events are so busy where I call them my marathon events, just like a night market where I'm out of my house at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I get home at maybe like 11 or 12 o'clock because I set up, shut down, and I think it's all about like just talking to the community and just like seeing all my friends, all the families, and making sure they're having a great time. And if like they need anything or if there's issues, like we bring it up, and then the community grows every single year. Right, I feel like a lot of the conversation today has been much of the same, but it's like a lot of community building and just like bringing more highlight to what Windsor itself could be. Right, so like Dan was saying that the Renaissance in Detroit and it's growing, and I don't see why Windsor couldn't and can't be in a short period of time. Yeah. Especially with the new bridge coming up. I'm excited for it. I'm ready. I think it's going to be really cool. Like, my whole spiel is like, I'm usually hanging out in the basement or making tacos, that being Funky Chow or Gran Cantina, and Tula's like, we've been around for almost 20 years now. And I have 3 employees that have been there since the beginning. So it belongs to community. So I feel like everything that we were talking about today is all about community building and how amazing it is and pushing forward. So I don't know. I'm in it for the long haul. Yeah. Right. And like we have like amazing people behind us. So it's great.
Well, it's good.
And just to kind of quickly, add to what John is saying, and so he's talking about the event lineup, it is every single industry working together. You have like Anissa and the Urban Art Market and all of the retail locations, and then you have the restaurants and cafes and pubs, and everyone is rowing in the same direction, and everyone is working together to create these epic events. And there is literally an event for everyone. Like, I can come to the night market with my kids, or I can come by myself after work, and have a few drinks with friends. But there's something for everyone all the time. And I think that's so well thought out and carefully executed, but at the same time also comes so organically and so naturally because the people that live and work here just genuinely want to keep creating, new and unique things that kind of suit everyone.
That is so true. I mean, I love coming down to the Walkerville area, and I hold it tribute to you, Mike, because you bringing this Walkerville Brewery, and it really helped build up this area and draw in people like Anissa and John and all of the people that are still starting to Flow Cafe, and then Alexandra,
the bakery.
Alex from
Black Sage Bakery.
Black Sage Bakery is coming up, and we have so many new businesses, and then people wanting to live in this area, and I do hold that to you. You were the one that really started the revitalization of this area and bringing everybody together for these different night markets and events, and I want to thank you for creating such a wonderful area for these people to really grow, and for everybody in the audience here and that might be watching to enjoy ourselves with our family, by ourselves, and just have fun. And thank you guys as well.
Really don't know what to say. I'm going to blush. Everyone's giving us so much credit. But I think it's a collaborative it's a collaborative effort in Walkerville.
Sure.
I came here in the 90s, and just like Dan said, it was like Detroit, boarded up buildings, boarded up storefronts. Property could have been purchased at a fraction of the cost that it's being sold for now. But it's a collaborative effort. I mean, you need the municipality on your side. You need all the stakeholders in the same room. I mean, sometimes I worry about developers coming in and overdeveloping an area, and we lose our intimacy. We lose this great Walkerville culture we have here. So sometimes that creates a problem. But I think with all these economic factors that small businesses are facing right now, with inflation and increased energy costs and increased property taxes, it's extremely difficult for people to survive in this atmosphere. But I think Walkerville is here to stay because it's so unique. There's so much architecture, there's so much history. You walk around these streets, and I think the final piece of the puzzle was people actually buying homes like Dan or whoever were coming in. They were bringing in young families. They were fixing these homes. I think that was the last piece of the puzzle. We still need more development here to create more retail space. But we need a balance where sometimes developers come in and see their vision and might not be aligned with what the residents want. So I'm hopeful here in the next 3 to 5 years that some developments will come up front and it'll really help out the community.
Excellent.
We definitely need some more retail to balance out these food and beverage folks. I tell you that.
We support it.
I agree, 100%.
We do need more retail, though.
It's true, we do.
We do.
No, I definitely do agree. And it's nice to see an area that really takes pride in their houses and their neighborhoods and working together to try and make it, to beautify it, and to have it safe and enjoyable so that these businesses can grow, so that the community can grow. And Anissa, can you tell us a little bit, because you're high into the art part of it with Urban Art Market. You've brought a lot of crafters and artisans into this area. Can you tell us a little bit about what's in your store?
Well, you're supporting about 44 small businesses from Windsor, Essex. You're not really supporting just one. I do the boring paperwork, behind the scenes stuff. The store is basically full of mini small businesses that make up Urban Art Market, from candles to jewelry to
tea,
graphic design to tea, and knitwear to sewing to so much creativity in our city. It's like ridiculous. I get a lot of people applying. They want to try and have a little piece of a retail shop to just gain more exposure. When I opened the shop 10 years ago, it was markets. People had to wait for markets to sort of see the creativity, and they weren't really that many at the time. And to have a piece of a retail shop, 365 days a year is kind of awesome. So I'm a maker. That's how, when I moved back to Windsor, I needed to sort of reinvent myself. My forestry mining degree wasn't really doing too much for me in Windsor. So I started knitting and crocheting, put myself through a business degree and marketing degree, opened the shop. So opened the shop in about 13 days. And I had 12 makers at the time, and 3 of them are still with me today, which is kind of awesome. I think over the years we've had about between 140, 160 small businesses that were started, as a side hustle on mat leave in the basement, wanting to make vacation money. And now some of them have quit their daytime job and do it full time now.
Which makers are still with you?
Culture Shock Jewelry.
Okay.
Catherine, she now has her own business downtown, and she sells beads. She's our Indigenous artist. Sarah Whittle from That's So Sarah, she makes handbags and pouches and bags out of vintage recycled fabrics. And then I have Tara Green Gardens from Amherstburg. She had her own business for a while, but she's been creating Bath and Body I've known her for about 14 years now.
Wow.
So these are like my friends, and we work together. It's kind of great.
So cool.
But I love just doing and a lot of makers are great at what they do, but they really hate the fact they have to market by internet and buy tags and do all that stuff. So I do all that, and I actually really like it all. So I do that side, but the makers are what Urban Art Market is for sure. And the fact that we can support these small businesses to grow and expand. It's like a little incubator of creativity, and we all work together. And that's what Walkerville is. Business back in the day, like 30 years ago, it was like every man for themselves. But now it's not the case. It's supporting each other. How can we do this together to promote, to get out there and succeed? And that's what Walkerville does for sure, and the shop.
I want to thank each and every one of you.
Thank you.
For being so wonderful and giving us a wonderful area like Walkerville. And I'm really excited for the new businesses that are coming in, the new events that are coming up, the brunches that John feeds me every weekend.
There's other places that do brunches.
I know, but you switch it up, and there's just something about your burrito that is
The burrito.
amazing.
That burrito is
It's pretty
ridiculous.
good. It's pretty good.
So I am going to wrap this up, and I want to thank you again for joining me for another episode of YQG In Bloom here at Walkerville Brewery. And you guys all have a good day.
Thank you
all.
so much. I appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.